Hi, I'm Mark, and I live in Rowlett, Texas, a suburb just outside of Dallas. And I have been invited to give my feedback on Ippei and Dan's lead generation program. So I have been in the program a little over 2 years now, and doing this full time right at 2 years. So I came across the program probably much like you're doing right now, and found myself kind of looking at an overview of the program and some of the testimonials and getting a general idea of what it was about. So before, I had zero knowledge or experience in the online or digital marketing space or lead generation. So my background has been in sales and business development, for like the last 25 years. Was most recently in the luxury auto sales when I came across the program. And at that time, I had just gotten to the point where I was cooked and I was wanting to get out of that business and go into business for myself. I just didn't know what that looked like, what industry I wanted to be in, or I just knew I had to get out. My mental health was severely and rapidly deteriorating. And so, but getting an overview of what the concept was, it made sense to me. And I felt confident that I could figure out, the skills, provided that the training was going to be good. I felt like I could absorb it and then implement it. And I was highly motivated to do so just because I was so miserable in where I was. So I took the leap of faith and, had my call and decided, hey, this was it. There was a little bit of pushback from my better half on, leaving something that was relatively steady and jumping into something that was completely unknown. But in the end, it all worked out pretty well. It took us about, so I put myself in a position to, start the program, and then I only remained at my current employer at the time for about 2 months. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm doing this full time. So put ourselves in a position to where we'd have a little bit of financial cushion by selling an asset and dedicating myself to the lead generation program full time. So once I did that, it took us about 8 months to get to to cross over from the red into the black, to get beyond break even. And then once that happened, we scaled from a revenue perspective really quickly. In about a year into it, I had matched the income that I left. And now, a little over 2 years into it, I've just about doubled the income that I left. So my life looks so much different than it did, 2 years ago. That not just from a financial standpoint, but from mental health and just happiness and outlook and my marriage and everything. And so I'm so grateful, and it's, golly, I really can't put into words how much it just has changed my life. Now, with that said, if you're watching this, you're probably, have been thinking about starting your own business for a while, or whatever the case may be. Give you a little bit more insight. This is a business model. This is not a get rich quick, no effort and it's going to work. It's a business, and you have to approach it as a business and dedicate to it like a business. And if not, just like any other business, it will struggle and you will probably fail. So you have to dedicate yourself to it. I mentioned about getting profitable 8 months. I mean, some of you may be thinking, wow, that's a long time. That is light speed compared to most other businesses or business models. it can be done. Everybody's situation is different as far as access to resources and how to implement that. So that can't be, I can't answer that for you. That's something that you have to determine on your own. But just know that the skills that are taught within this program are effective. You just have to implement them and follow the steps to it. It really is that. It's a simple concept to do. The execution isn't. I mean, if it's not everybody can do it. If everybody could, then we'd all be just successful in everything. It's but it does take some effort and some dedication to it. So the resources that are given, though, are pretty much unbelievable. It's not just like, okay, you buy this course and boom, you're left up to your own devices. So, it's a step-by-step progression. You are learning, whether you're going to, I'm thinking back to when I went through the program. I think it's set up and designed to do on a weekly basis. Well, I was cramming weeks into days just because I was highly motivated to do so. But it's you're implementing and you're executing the steps to build this business as you're learning the program. It's not, let's just go all through it and then you try to do it. I guess you could do it that way. That's not the most effective. You actually want to be, learning and then executing the steps to build this as you're going along, which is pretty amazing. And so not only that, you detailed explanations on how to learn, where to look, how to push the buttons, so to speak, which is great if you've had no experience in this space or this industry, which I didn't. I felt like it was able to be absorbed and learned pretty easily. But not only do you have the training itself, but you have the resource of the group itself, the Facebook group, and where you have the leadership team twice a week, every week, coming on to do live seminars and training and Q&As. That's amazing support. Something that's you don't find in too many other spaces. So the value that you get in return is, you're going to get it back, tenfold, 100-fold. I mean, it just depends on how you execute. So with that said, I mean, there really isn't anything negative I can think of associated with this. I'm so grateful in the way it's transformed my life. So getting into some of the specifics of my business and what we've done, we focus mainly, many skills that you'll learn within the program, but we tend to focus mostly on just lead generation. So we have, I want to say right at 15 clients, somewhere between 13 and 15 clients, and then multiple markets or assets that we have working for many of those clients. So we have a little over between 40 and 50 different digital properties that are producing leads for these clients. Our revenue is right at 20 or just shy of 20,000 per month. And so, in 2 years, doing this full time, that's what we've achieved. And it's kind of crazy to think about, where we even could have been, because in the last there's about a six month period where I really took the foot off the gas, and as far as growing the business, client acquisition, and it was right at about the time where I fully replaced my income 100%, and then kind of coasted for a little bit and enjoyed the fruits of my labor, so to speak. A lot of time at the golf course, much to the dismay of my wife. But and it kind of refocused. And one of the things that helped do that is figuring out your why. And in anything that you do is important, but especially in business or taking on something, because if you don't know what your why is, you kind of float along aimlessly. That's not to say that your why won't change, because mine has. A few times, with this, people may get in with the full intention of building this huge digital marketing empire, and more power to them. That's great. They want to build this business up and have, dozens of employees and salespeople and web developers. And hey, if that's you, that's great. And I actually had that vision for a brief period of time. And then it was like, okay, well, I'm building all these other people's business. Maybe I really want to get into something that is an interest of mine. And now that I have these skills, I can build that business up. And a lot of people choose to do that. They get into arbitrage, which that's talked about in the training a little, what that is a little bit. So right now I'm actually pursuing an acquisition. Don't even know what industry yet. I've got it narrowed down to 2 or 3, but acquiring an existing business, just completely outside of, lead generation or digital marketing. Taking it over and building that company up with the skills that I've learned here. And that is a viable path that you could take with this skill set. It's just opened up not only just a wealth of opportunities personally, but in business too. You've got a skill set that you can leverage in so many different ways. And personally, it's given me a lot of freedom to go and pursue some things because I have that financial stability now. I'm 44, just turned 44 years old, and I just started training to get my private pilot's license. So that's pretty cool. I would have never had the means, meaning the time, or the resources to do that. So it's pretty cool. So I'm so grateful to the program that I got into. It has changed my life, and I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it any more than I do. It's just a wonderful program, and I encourage anybody that if they have the drive and the hunger to be an entrepreneur, and they really know what that means, to go for it. And this is a great vehicle to get you where you want to be on that path. So, all right, thanks for your time.